Hey guys, this is Derek from the Wrestling IQ 101 podcast. Just want to let you know about this great partnership that we have with Collar and Elbow now. You can check out all of their great merchandise at collarandelbowbrand.com. Make sure you use the code WIQ101 to get some great savings. Everybody likes saving money. I like saving money, so you should too. Collarandelbowbrand.com, WIQ101. It's a match made in heaven.
Yeah. Look, Wrestling 101, classes in session. Pay attention to the teachings, that's from Andrew and Derek. I mean, these guys making a killing with no competition. Dynamic duo better than the Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys. Everybody make some noise, mess with them, you get destroyed. They cannot be beat, take a seat. Watch them do they thing on the MIC. Face defeat, they cannot be seen like JC. Oh my goodness, it's a killing spree.
Yeah, this is Rich Reed, ring announcer extraordinaire. You are now listening to Wrestling IQ 101, the best wrestling podcast in New Jersey, and that's the bottom line, because Rich Reed said so.
Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of Wrestling IQ 101. I'm Andrew and alongside Derek.
Yep.
And you can follow us at Wrestling IQ 101 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And today, we're joined by Bear Bronson. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, we're doing well, you know.
Pretty good.
We got a huge weekend coming up here in New Jersey. Are you going to be taking part of any of these festivities?
I am, but I'm going to be for the most part doing. Let's just say you might find me in someone's entrance or something.
Oh,
Okay.
Nice. Very nice.
Right, cool.
Yeah. We'll see how that goes. I'm not too sure, but because you never really know until you're there. But
Yeah.
Sure.
but as far as independent, I have on Saturday. I will be doing the Chaotic Wrestling, Chaos for a Cause.
Nice.
It's a benefit show for Connor's Cure.
Nice.
And it's me and Beefcake and Bear Country versus Sent to Slaughter, Danny Moff and Sean Donovan. So that will definitely hurt a lot.
I bet.
Yeah,
Hey,
definitely.
damn up. He's a hard hitter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing I'm not unfamiliar with, but because we've had our history, but
You're a moth
Yeah.
killer.
Yeah. See?
yeah.
Yeah. See, you're like killing my questions right now, man. Because that's where I was heading. I was gonna say with this Bear Country, were you gonna rekindle this feud with Dan Moff and Sean Donovan? Sent the Slaughter. And now look at that. You guys are set up already. I can't wait to see that match.
Yeah, me too. It's probably going to be insane. Me and Moff and Rawway, it can't be any, it can't just be nothing. It's probably going to, it's, the least I could say is that it's going to hurt a lot for both of us.
Definitely. Now I have to ask: Do you still have Dan Moff's vest, or did you finally give it back to him?
I actually still have it.
Oh man, nice.
Yeah. But I'm sure he hasn't noticed because I don't know if you noticed, but he's got about 3 to 4 closets in his house just full of gear and vests. And
Oh man,
just a ton of stuff.
that's crazy.
You have a piece of wrestling history right there for sure.
Seriously.
Oh man, yeah. So I don't even think he's noticed, but
Yeah, I wouldn't say anything. Just don't say nothing.
Yeah, right?
yeah, that's why. Yeah, I'm not saying anything. So
Yeah. We alluded to Dan Moff, but you've been in the ring with so many other guys. You've been able to do other things. I want to talk about one guy in particular, KTB. At JAP, I remember us talking about this, and you were pretty brash because it was right after you guys attacked him. How is it rivaling with him sometimes?
he's very fun to mix it up with.
Mm-hmm.
We're a lot alike.
Sure.
So, right off the top of my head, at a place like Limitless Wrestling a few months ago, him and I were both in a scramble, and we just murdered each other, man. I did moves to him that I've never even done before, and same with him to me, just because we just really just felt like throwing stuff at the wall and just kind of, when you're on a platform like Limitless Wrestling, you have to, you have to pull some stuff out of your sleeve and kind of go that extra mile because you want to make the best of opportunities like that. Actually, it was funny because both of us were put on that show last minute that week because I believe Filthy Tom Lawler was supposed to be in that scramble, but I think he broke his hand. And somebody else was also supposed to be in it, but they, MJF, with his injury, they had to put Brody King, who was supposed to be in that scramble, they put him in the main event. So that left 2 spots. And the promoter, he contacted me and KTB. So that's kind of how that happened.
Sure.
But, man, it changed the dynamic of everything. That match, I feel like, was definitely one of the most memorable matches on the show.
Yeah, it's cool because you both have a similar look, but a different look completely, and it's kind of cool to see you guys shoot. I mean, you guys had a thing at JP where you were teaming up with Schlack and K-Trade. It's just kind of cool stuff that you were able to do with him. So things.
Yeah, man, I miss that. I miss JAP. I wish it was still. I wish they were running strong.
Yeah,
that's the history behind that place is just. For me to say that I worked that place is definitely a huge bucket lister for me. I just wish it was still going.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, definitely. Now with Bear Country, just interested in how did it all come about, and how did you decide to team up with Beefcake, and you guys have.
It's funny. It was actually kind of a slow process. We started. The first time we ever teamed was, I believe it was at WrestlePro. And it was actually I want to say it was around 2 years ago. It was an idea that Beefcake came up with. He texted me one day and he was like, hey man, what do you think about teaming? And I think we were both kind of he wasn't really sold completely on it. We were kind of just throwing it at the wall. We didn't really know how it would be, whatever. And it really didn't come on strong because we both kept our singles careers going, still are, but it really didn't come on strong until we both started teaming at Chaotic Wrestling last year. And when that happened was when we really realized our chemistry as a team. And before you knew it, it seemed very quick. We just picked up steam right away. Before you knew it, we were tag champs there. Yeah. And then once that happened, everything kind of just rolls into another. We're getting booked all over New England, and then taking it to other places across the country. So it's just one thing kind of rolling into another, slowly but surely. And now it seems like why didn't we do this earlier? It's funny, but I guess that's kind of just how things happen. It's really working so far. I mean, our schedules are full, mostly tag team, but the other stuff, any open dates I have, I'll usually try to fill them with singles. But I mean, it's definitely filled our schedules. So that's always a positive. Just keep, we're working as much as possible, and we want to be. That's the goal, as a wrestler, or at least it should be. Your goal should be to work every single Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that you can, and in different places, and that's kind of how that came about. It was very slow, but that's things kind of just ping ponged into each other.
Yeah. I think one thing I love about you guys that you have Jay Enterprise in your corner some places. How's it working with him?
I love Jay. He's such an animated character. I wish he could be around with us more. But usually it's in New Jersey locations because that's where he's based out of.
Sure.
And he's just, whenever we have him with us, it's just it kind of adds a different layer to our team because when we're by ourselves in different places, we're very serious. I don't know if you might have saw, we just got 2 weeks ago, we just got these new masks, and it gives us that real monster serious dark look. But when we have Jay Enterprise in our corner, it's very he could be very animated and actually very comedic. So it kind of adds a different layer. But I love him, man. He's great.
I definitely want to get one of those sweater vests. I don't know about you, Derek.
No, I'll pass on the sweater vest.
Really?
I'll pass on it. And the turtlenecks. I'll pass on both of them.
But you could match up different colors and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know. I think you guys are missing this year.
Yeah, no. And when it comes to the masks, I was looking at those masks. Can you kind of like break it down? It kind of looks like when I was looking at it, it kind of looks like a bear trap, like on the side of the head type thing.
Yes.
I don't know if that was what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's,
okay.
it's supposed to be a bear trap that's like around our heads, and attached to it is like human flesh that we so-called, that we conquered, or
Gotcha.
whoever we beat, it's almost like that's represented by them, and that's like it's like a leathery. It kind of reminds me of Leatherface.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that. I didn't think it would make sense if we had like actual bear faces on it. I just thought the bear traps were enough to show that,
Yeah.
to kind of give off that vibe.
No,
So,
definitely.
That's
Yeah.
kind of what. Yeah. So you're right on the bear traps.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely looks cool. I definitely like it for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty
Thank you.
cool. One thing I
Got a
know.
lot of positive feedback with it, so I'm happy with that.
Oh, yeah.
Really.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. The thing I like about you is at the time when you were the silver champion, you were also the Creator Pro champion. How was it holding both titles at the same time and knowing that your stock is kind of rising?
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what I thought. Holding both at the same time, I was representing. My home school, Creative Pro Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Having that belt alone, that championship alone, it meant a lot to me. It meant more to me than pretty much anything, because that's a school that I trained from scratch, and to become a leader and to become somebody that many at that school look up to and go to for guidance and whatever, like to kind of make that transition and to be holding that championship, representing that school personally by guys like Brian Myers and Pat Buck, like that, them putting that in my hands means the world to me. It really does. And over in WrestlePro with the Silver Championship, this sometimes you can make. I'm sure you guys know when you watch WWE on TV, like sometimes you can make an undercard title, like a mid-card title, mean more than the actual, the main title.
Yeah.
Examples of that are like Seth Rollins with the IC title, or stuff like that. I felt like I did that, and it was very fulfilling to me. I felt like even if we weren't last, I felt like we were the main event, me and Danny Mock, with that title. And I just felt like we were the focal point of every show that we were on. And that's what everybody on the card, everybody on any card, that's what they should strive to be. And that's what I always strive to do. I always strive to be the best on a card, or on any show that I'm on. Whether I'm first, last, second, popcorn match after intermission, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So that to hold both of those at the same time was very. I think it gave me that confidence boost I really needed to start getting out there, and everything kind of just took off from there. To be honest, as far as my career.
Yeah, definitely. It was a really great feud, and I definitely enjoyed watching those matches with Moff for sure. The whole story, I don't know, it kind of felt to me like when Kevin Owens was in NXT and then he came to the main roster and he was he challenged John Cena. He was the NXT champion. I feel like it was kind of like the same thing. It's like you definitely deserve to be on the WrestlePro card like full time, and you were holding it down for Creator Pro at the same time. The whole story was it was great.
Yeah, I never thought about it like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad you look at it that way. It means a lot to me. Like I do feel like me and Mop had that relationship, that kind of dynamic. So yeah, I've never thought of it that way, but that definitely makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, sure.
And anytime I can compare it to Kevin Owens, that's just one thing in itself. So
yeah, definitely.
It's kind of crazy because I remember when you attacked Fallah Bahh and Mario Bakara, and then you guys kind of said, we're aiming at the top here, and that's kind of something that you've been able to do for a while. I mean, your feuds with Dan Moff and stuff like that. I mean, are you feeling that confident today still?
I'm sorry?
Are you still feeling that confident after all these things that you've done? I mean, you attacked, Fallah Bahh, Mario Bakara, and wins over Dan Moff. Are you still feeling that confidence now?
To be honest, I'm feeling more confident than ever. Once I really, started traveling on my own and going to places like I'm just breaking now into Canada, places in the Midwest for companies like Black Label Pro, and 2 weekends I'm debuting for freelance, AAW. Got like companies like Alpha One in Canada. Like I'm feeling more confident than ever. When I look at my schedule, it makes me feel fulfilled. It makes me feel like I'm not doing anything. I'm not shortening myself on anything. I feel like I'm doing everything I can do right now. And to say that makes me feel very fulfilled. So, and I'm getting put in the ring with guys that I remember being a student looking up to and being like, oh man, I hope I could be as good as them one day. Guys like, like JT Dunn and, I'm going to be in the ring with Ricky Shane Page in 2 weeks. Like stuff like that. Stuff like that. That's very fulfilling to me. And it's in answer to your question, I'm more confident than ever right now, and I feel like I am hanging with the best in the business. And it's just, to me, it's just going to keep going up from there because I have no plans of stopping short anytime soon. So
that's good to see, man. We want to see some of those more matches for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
And as far as it goes with Creator Pro, being there with Pat Bug, Myers, can you just tell us any great advice you were given, or just your experience overall there, and just what you've learned from being there?
So I felt like if I actually said this in an interview 2 weeks ago that we did because Creative Pro just hit 5 years, and which seems like I feel like it opened just yesterday. Everything is just going so fast, and I actually had a lot of time to think about it, and I said that having Kurt Hawkins and Pat Buck as your trainers, they're two different trainers, but it's the perfect formula for learning both for the independent scene and for TV. Yeah. And I actually said if I wasn't trained by those guys, I wouldn't even be close to the wrestler that I am today. I probably wouldn't even be still wrestling. I'd probably be trained poorly because I'm going to be honest with you, and I don't really care how anyone takes this. There's no other school that measures up to Creative Pro in the area, at least. And it's just a fact. But those guys, I would not be. When you're there every single day and everybody's pushing each other. Everybody wants to be the absolute best version of themselves. And if you're not, if you're just half of what you could be, you're probably going to sink instead of swim. It's definitely the most positive environment I've ever been. But at the same time, everybody pushes each other to work harder than you did the day before. So when it comes to that, and just in-ring stuff, like guys like Pat Buck's a genius. Pat Buck, when it comes to in-ring stuff, learning, not even just stuff for TV and whatever, but just learning everything technical, everything just footwork and fundamentals and everything. The guy's a genius. And it's almost like every day, every Tuesday, because we do, Tuesdays with Pat, Thursdays with Brian. It's almost like you're getting a seminar every week from the two of them. It's all invaluable information that guys like Kurt Hawkins, man. I mean, he's a WWE superstar since he's been in the WWE since he was 21, I think 20. That's when he was signed. So with the exception of the 2 years that he was released and brought back, the guy is invaluable knowledge. He sat in when he was with Edge and the Edgeheads. He's sat in on conversations between Edge and The Undertaker, putting together matches, learning from the real pros. So to get that passed down to us, it's completely invaluable. And I think if you're choosing a school, if you're an aspiring pro wrestler, even if you are a pro wrestler right now and you just want to get better, I think you're insane to not at least try Create a Pro. It's not even really that expensive. It's not as expensive as other schools I've seen, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That aren't even as good. But it's completely, those guys are, they're my voices of reason, those two. Anything I need in wrestling, I just go to them, and they're my voices of reason, those two.
Awesome.
Sure. What do you like to do when you're just at home, and you're not wrestling and stuff like that? You have like a go-to hobby or something like that?
So I am engaged. I've been in a relationship for 5 years now, a little over 5 years, and I was engaged last December.
Oh, nice.
So I proposed, last December. So I love to, with the little time I have, my fiance is very, very accommodating when it comes to this. She completely gets it. And I look and I see people who aren't as lucky, with people that maybe, they're with people that don't really get it and that look at it as like a hobby. It makes me feel blessed every single time. She's always do your thing, go live your dream. And she's just the best when it comes to that. So I'm very lucky, very, very lucky. And I love to spend as much time with her as I can. When I'm not with her, I'm actually a huge gamer.
Nice.
Okay, cool.
So I'm an Xbox guy.
Mm-hmm.
And the little time I get very little time to play, but when I do, I cherish every minute of it.
Wow.
I love it.
What games do you like to play? Are you playing WWE 2K19? Or?
I have. I'm not really big on them because I've always been a No Mercy guy.
Okay.
I feel like no game can beat that besides maybe SmackDown versus Raw 06.
Okay.
That one was great. WWE 13 was great, but I don't think anyone's better than No Mercy. I feel like my go-tos are, I don't know if you guys ever heard of Rocket League.
I have heard of that.
Yeah, it's like the car game, right?
Because me and my brothers, I have two brothers,
Okay.
one younger than me, one older than me, and we usually play all the time when we can. Our go-tos are usually Rocket League. I don't know if you've ever heard of PUBG, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. It's kind of like Fortnite, but it's a little different.
You can play it on the phone too, right?
You can, yeah, you can.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
Yes.
When you play No Mercy, did you create like Kurt Hawkins and start beating him up?
I know there's a lot that you can do with No Mercy as far as like mods and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've never gotten into that though.
No?
I've always just kind of picked up and played because I still have the same N64 I had when I was little.
That's awesome.
And
man.
I still, because those things are built to you can throw your TV on it and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Those things just can't break.
Like it can make it through Walking Dead, like the apocalypse. Yeah. Like,
Yeah, right. Like, yeah, exactly. Like those things just won't ever break. So I've had the same one for over a decade, well over a decade.
It must be.
And,
It must be because like kids get mad and how like they throw the controller and stuff like that. It has to be built tough,
That's because we were tougher back in the day. That's definitely
yeah, but yeah, those are usually my go-tos. Maybe I was big on Resident Evil 2 before I beat it.
Yeah.
But because I'm a Resident Evil guy. But other than that, yeah, those are usually my go-tos.
Awesome. Yeah. Now, as far when it comes to, I'm always interested when it comes to, wrestlers picking their names or creating them their characters. Why'd you go with the bear? It fits you perfectly, so it's great that you did pick that. But I always wondered that. Why did you go bear?
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you. And so my mom actually, she never calls me Joe. My real name's Joe, and she never calls me Joe. My whole life, she's called me Bear.
Okay.
That's a shoot fact. And I actually started out as Joe Bronson, but I got the Bronson from so I don't. You guys obviously, I'm sure you know MJF.
Yeah.
Everyone who doesn't, him and I started out at the same time. We started training at the same, pretty much around the same time, and we became best friends real quick. And we needed to come up with names because for our first few shows we were going to be tagging, and we were trying to come up with names, and we were taking too long. So Hawkins came up with, and I love him to death, but these are like the worst names ever. He came up with Joe Vaughn.
Joe Vaughn.
And Maxwell Jacob Katz. Joe Vaughn and Maxwell Jacob Katz, and we were like, Brian, I love you, but no. Like, absolutely not. So him and I started scrambling because we're like, God, like, oh my God, if we don't think of good names, like, we're going to be Joe Vaughn and Maxwell Jacob Katz. So, actually, MJF thought of mine for me because of, I think he got it from the movie Bronson, from Charles Bronson, the Tom Hardy movie.
Yeah.
And so that's, and I was like, oh, that sounds great. I'll be Joe Bronson. And he became Maxwell Jacob Feinstein.
Yeah.
And then later Friedman, because his last name is really Friedman. So
yeah, makes sense.
that. But and then so I was Joe Bronson, and I was like, you know what? There are so many Joes. There's so many Joes in the business, and I thought I looked a lot like I don't know if you guys know Joe Gacy from CZW, because when I grew my hair out, I grew my hair out, wetted a lot, and I have a beard. So does Joe Gacy. So instead of being like Joe Gacy and Joe Bronson, I was like, I gotta, this guy's been around way longer than I have. I have to change my name.
Yeah.
And my mom has always, my mom's called me Bear my whole life. So I thought Bear Bronson, and it kind of, goes together with two B's. So.
Yeah,
I like it.
I like it. It's a good name.
That's the origin. That's where it comes from.
MJF, he'll probably say he's better than you, but do you think that, or do you feel like you're better than him?
You know what? If he didn't help me so much, I would probably answer that question honestly. But he helps me a lot, so I'm just gonna say he's better than me.
Are you saying that MJF is actually a nice guy? Is that what you're telling us right now?
No. Don't ever let him know I said that. Because I'll wake up to a million texts.
Oh man.
Yeah. He cut our interview short because I got the brand of his scarf wrong. I mean, he's like, "This is over," and standalone wrestling.
Funny is, I'm not gonna lie to you. Actually, he really is how he is in real life. He really is his gimmick. Because him and I are, we tell people this all the time. We actually hated each other when we met each other.
Oh wow.
He was intimidated by me. And I mean, dude, Max walks into a room, you think this guy's the biggest douche you ever seen in your life. So, him and I, we did not get along. We stayed far away from each other, didn't like each other, and then, when you're training at the same school, you have to talk sooner or later. And once we started we were, it was very slow, but once we started talking, it was within the first 2 weeks. We started talking. We were like, "Oh wow, this guy's actually really cool." And then we started hanging out outside of Cap, and we became best friends. Still are. So it's real cool. I really value his in quotations friendship.
Yeah, definitely.
That's awesome, man. That's cool.
He called me fat in front of my dad. Actually, that's a real thing.
I believe that he said that.
Right in front of my dad, and he didn't think of it as an insult. He was, we were talking about somebody that we know, and he was like, "Oh yeah, but that guy's way fatter than you, though." My dad was like, "What?"
Oh man,
he's in our house right now.
That's messed up.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
Pretty funny because he just doesn't realize. But yeah, he's really his gimmick.
That's awesome. That you haven't killed him by now.
Oh, I've been very close to wringing his neck many times.
Oh, that's awesome. That's funny. I think people would pay to see that, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah, we haven't wrestled each other ever on a live show.
Yeah. I'm
waiting for which I feel like it's meant to be. I feel like we'll both meet at a high place for the first time and finally get that match in front of a deserving, like a big crowd.
Yeah.
I feel like we'll get that.
So like that's something we can go double or nothing on for sure.
Oh, sure. That'd be great, man. I'm so happy for him.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I know he'll spit in anybody's face that tries to congratulate him, but I'm very, very happy for him.
Yeah, for sure. Now I have to ask you. This is a very serious question. What do you think is the toughest bear, and which bear do you relate to the most?
Oh, well, grizzlies, of course.
Okay. Those are the toughest ones, and those are the ones you relate to the most? Andrew's like a polar bear.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm more of a panda bear.
You're a panda bear?
Yeah, I like follow Bob.
You're a panda? You're a follow guy?
Yeah, I'm a follow guy.
Sure. Or maybe, I know Kevin Owens is a huge koala guy.
Yeah, cool. That's funny. Koala. Yeah, I'm more of a black bear.
Yeah, you're more okay. Well, all bears are equal, so I'm not going to say one over the other. But
yeah, you see that?
Especially, the Shook crew is very big on that as well. So
equality, yeah.
Andrew, stay quiet. You haven't seen me, but it's because I'm black. That's why I'm a black bear.
All right. Okay. Okay.
Oh man, that's funny. Oh man,
that's great.
Yeah. Now, do you have any you have like any hidden talents besides being a great wrestler, or do you have any other hidden talents that we wouldn't know about?
Hidden talents.
Like, are you?
I eat a lot.
You eat a lot.
I can eat a lot. Yeah. I mean, hidden talents.
I think me and you have that same talent.
It's like it's bear quality, right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. But hidden talents. You know what? Not really. I mean, I kind of just the normal stuff. I mean, like I just. Always a gamer. Played football in high school. Nothing, no hidden like I can't juggle or anything like Alex Reynolds can.
Oh man.
I don't know if you guys know Alex Reynolds, but he's like a world-class juggler.
That would be hilarious.
That's kind of cool.
You wouldn't even know it, and he just is just unbelievable. But that's like a hidden, as far as like that kind of thing, not really, to be honest.
That would be kind of funny, a juggling bear.
Yeah, right.
Oh man.
So there you talked about eating, and a guy who just never stops eating is the Ryback, and you were lucky enough to get in the ring with him.
Oh man,
how was it wrestling him?
I actually just watched that match yesterday because I'm putting together a highlight video, and I was like, you know what? I haven't seen this match in a long time, and I watched it, and I really enjoyed it. I loved it. He was a great guy. He is a great guy. It's not like he died or anything, but he is a great guy. I just haven't heard from him in a while because I know he's slowed down with wrestling. I haven't really heard much, but I know he really is passionate about nutrition, and I'm very happy for him in that. I have a lot of his supplements and a lot of his apparel. I think it's great. I love the branding of it. But Ryback man was a great guy. Is a great guy. Pleasure to wrestle. I was super nervous because I was really, if you think about it, just thrown to the wolves kind of with that match. I didn't see it coming at all, and because he was at the time he was very close to Pat Buck, and for those two to Brian and Pat to have that confidence in me when I wasn't wrestling anywhere else besides Creative Pro, maybe Wrestle Pro sometimes, but at the time I was really just Creative Pro shows, and they saw the progress I was making and felt I deserved it, and to have that faith, for them to have faith in me like that, it kind of it got me through that match, and it was actually a very enjoyable match, for how green I was and how new I was at the time. I can't even. It's really one of those things you look back on. You're like, how did I do that? How did I have the confidence to do that? Like to get in the ring with somebody so freaking giant. Like, guy's a maniac.
Yeah, that's true. Oh man. So when it comes to let's see, there's a lot of wrestlers. You got Randy Orton, the Viper, Stone Cold, the Rattlesnake, the Brahma Bull, Brandon the Bull, Bull Dempsey, a lot of bulls. Besides yourself, who do you think is one of the greatest wrestlers that has like a animal like gimmick or a nickname?
So, I mean, my favorite of all time is Stone Cold Steve Austin. So I
Yeah,
feel like I have to go with that. But as far as like, because I've always been a fan of that. Like, I'm when you see my matches, I'm not crawling on all
yeah,
fours and
yeah,
yelling at people or anything like that. I like when people kind of have like a spirit animal.
yeah,
So that's what I'm really going with. But I love like that, like Baron Corbin, the Lone Wolf. I love when guys have spirit animals like that, even if they don't need it, because guys like Randy Orton, probably one of the greatest of all time. He doesn't need that, but it just adds kind of like a layer to his character.
yeah.
I think that's really important, and it kind of sets yourself apart from everybody else. But I'd probably have to go with Stone Cold Steve Austin. I like the rattlesnake. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
More of a puppies kind of guy.
Puppies, Jesus.
Oh, so Roman Reigns, right?
Roman
Big
Reigns.
dog, big dog.
The big dog. Yeah. You could go Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
I love that too. I love how he's the big dog. It makes sense. It completely makes sense. It's his yard,
Yeah.
Like I love all that. I'm a huge Roman Reigns fan.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns fan.
I love Rep Titus because he's the big dog. The arm selling.
Yeah.
And Rep Titus is amazing. I love watching his matches for
I
sure.
love Brad, man. He's that guy's great.
The
I haven't
big
seen
guy.
him in a while. I miss him.
Yeah,
Great dude.
yeah, he's awesome. Let me ask you this, man, because you've had some major feuds with Johnny Clash and Delroy. Even some matches with Anthony Bowens. What's been your favorite match that you've had?
So, my favorite matches that I've had have to be either with Danny Moff. We had that dog collar match. That's probably one of my favorite matches I've had, where I've really just given the whole match my all. When you're having matches that are so sort of real, because I still have scars on my back from that match, and like, if I feel like that's a match I'll always take with me everywhere I go. Because Moff's just one of those guys that like kind of I joke around with people and I say like he made me into a man, because like I walked out of that match like a completely different person. I bled all over the place. I really was he freaking bludgeoned me. So I have a lot of scars from that, and other than him, I feel me. Bear Country, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Mainstay Posse, but we're sort of writing some chapters in our little book right now. So,
oh, cool.
A lot of those matches are very very fun.
Nice. Yeah. Now, who are you looking at that you want to get into the ring with that you haven't been in the ring with yet?
It's a great question. If I had to think.
I know there's like so many out there.
There's so many out there. Like off the top of my head, without even thinking, like guys like Sami Callihan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
That would definitely be cool.
Man, off the top of my head, I feel like most of them are in like the WWE. Guys like Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
Huge inspiration of mine was Dean Ambrose, but he's that's kind of I don't know really where that's going. I hope it's a story, him retiring. I heard it's not. I heard it's real, but whatever. But as far as independent scene, I actually wrote a list and I can't find it, but yeah, a lot of Midwest guys, a lot of Midwest guys, a lot of New England guys, like somebody I've been in the ring with and wrestled in tag, but like guys like Josh Briggs.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to have a singles match with him. Man, I've wrestled him a few times now, but it's always a pleasure wrestling JT Dunn.
Yeah.
But as far as guys I haven't wrestled yet, it's weird. I feel like I'm missing somebody. I would absolutely love to be in the ring with Eddie Kingston, and I know he's retiring this year, so it's actually really upsetting me.
Yeah.
But I want that to happen before the year ends because I would love to wrestle Eddie Kingston.
I mean, he is the last of a dying breed. That'd be awesome if you wrestled him.
Yeah, and then once he's done, there's just his breed's gone. So
Yeah.
See that?
You know, like it's kind of funny. Like, you know, if you ended up getting a match with him, Moff, even if you challenged Mac,
Yeah,
you know,
that'd
it's kind of like just killing off an end of a real era right there. You know, like at JP.
yeah, that's a great point actually.
You know?
Yeah, see that's exactly. I was thinking that way too, and I was kind of thinking, you know, after your fights with Moff, like I would definitely love to see you like with Matt Tremont or something like that. I think that would be dope.
Oh yeah, sure. So yeah, we're talking like real like I mean, with the exception of Tremont, but like we're talking like doghouse guys.
Yeah, like the
Magic.
Like I've been in the ring with Homicide, but I would love a singles with him.
Yeah, because I feel like you and like your character and just like your demeanor and you know the way you carry yourself, like you could be like the new version of, you know, the Moffs and you know the Max and the Eddie Kingston Homicides, like the Tremonts, like that's you now for our generation.
I appreciate that, and I have had people tell me that, and you know what? If I could be half the man that those guys are, then I feel like I can go very far.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
Yeah, man, we hope that for you for
That's
sure.
a lot to me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. The thing I liked, you know, I was watching a match of yours at WoW against Mr. Grimm. You know, I know you had a triple threat match with him too. You know, just as a fan and spectating, and you know, these two heavy hitters going at it. I mean, but both guys, you know, you and him are very agile and can do some things that, you know, a lot of people can't. I mean, how is it wrestling him?
You know, when I wrestled him, is actually the first time I ever met him.
Really?
And we were both a little standoffish with each other, I feel like.
Okay.
And then once we got in the ring, the chemistry was just there. And it's just everything. If you watch that match, it was actually at one of those Warriors tapings because they did those, and it was a good way to kind of get your foot in the door with that place. And I don't think anybody really expected that out of both of us, and we just kind of you know pulled out the kitchen sink. I mean, everything flowed very smoothly. We both worked together very well, and we work out. You know, every time we see each other now, we're like, you know, oh my god, remember that match? Like, I haven't seen. He's another one I haven't seen in a while either. But
yeah,
you know, I would love to. You know, the same thing. It was another limitless scramble. I was in a scramble with him, and just things were just seamless. You know.
Yeah, sometimes it just happens, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, another match like that I was watching of yours too was Ace Austin. You would think, how could Ace Austin compare to the guy of your size? But you know, you guys brought the fight to each other.
Yeah, those were actually very hard hitting. Whether it was me, you know, chopping or clubbing him, and him really kicking me. You know, those matches were a blast, man. Long time ago too. Like I wish. You know, we actually were in a triple threat with each other, I believe, a few months ago for Wrestling Has It Tomorrow, and you know, both of us just kind of mixed it up and you know updated versions of ourselves, and it flowed just as smoothly as it did 2 years ago. So it was good to kind of pick up that, you know, where we left off with there. So
yeah. Now, do you kind of like prefer matches like that where it's like, you know, you're the bigger guy and you're facing someone, you know, who's technically a smaller guy, or do you like the hard hitting, like, you know, big guys just going back and forth with them?
You know, it's funny. I just love different. I love telling a different story all the time. So I really don't prefer one over the other. I just don't like. I don't like telling the same story over and over. So I'll try to change it up as much as I can. But if I find that I'm up against a lot smaller guys, I'll like, you know, a few dates in a row, a few shows in a row. I'll be like, oh man, like it'd be a real, you know, breath of fresh air to, you know, go against a bigger guy or something like that. And then vice versa. I'll have where, you know, me and Beefcake are put up against, you know, huge guys, or, you know, when you have me versus Moff, and I'll be like, you know, I miss having that, you know, that cruiserweight vibe, you know, like where I'm putting the ring with guys like Ace Austin and Brandon Watts. Like, if I'm doing one a lot over the other, I'll miss the opposite. Or even, just hardcore stuff. Or, I love being diverse. I love having different stories at different times. It keeps everything fresh.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
Now, Bear, where can people get you on social media if they want to connect with you, maybe watch some of your matches or see where you're going to be next?
So the best places would be Instagram and Twitter. I try to be as active as I possibly can with like clips, videos, pics, just random stuff. I try to be as active as possible. So on Twitter, you can find me at @bear_Bronson. And Instagram would be official_Bronson. Facebook, I'm not as active on because I just feel like Instagram and Twitter are more, I don't know, I feel like I have more of a following on there.
Yeah.
But you could just, on Facebook, if you just go to Bronson, you can follow me, you can follow that page as well. I don't post there very often, but Instagram and Twitter are definitely, if you want to keep up to date with Bear Bronson, anything Bear Bronson, those are definitely the two platforms to do so.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, Bear, we definitely appreciate you taking the time out, answering all our questions, and just giving our fans an insight into who you are.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I don't really get to do this too often, so they're always very fun, and you guys are great. So it's great talk. I feel like I feel like I've already known you guys.
Yeah.
It makes it easier. I've had some without saying any names. I'm sure they can figure it out because I don't usually do these too often. But there are some people that try to do what you guys do, and they're just it can be brutal sometimes. It can be real brutal. Like,
yeah.
Like, if you're gonna do this, like, I think for anybody that wants to do what you guys are doing, like, just you would think people would want to just have fun with it, and just kind of shoot the, excuse my language, but just shoot the shit,
Yeah, definitely.
Some people are like just fire. There's questions like one by one. It's like we're in a library or something.
Yeah, man. Everybody's different, man. You can't give everybody the same formula,
Yeah, don't tell our secrets.
Yeah, but it's okay. We don't want them to do what we do anyway.
Yeah, exactly. That just helps you guys.
Yeah. But, well, for us guys, we are Wrestling IQ 101. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Wrestling IQ 101. You can listen to this right here at youtube.com. You can listen to it on iTunes, Google Play, all the streaming formats. Make sure you like, subscribe. And for this episode, we are out. You have just listened to the Wrestling IQ 101 podcast, powered by B Plus Player Radio.
One more for the good guy.